like this. I 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 like this.
All right. Welcome. I want to congratulate you on actually tuning in on another episode of the Victim No More podcast. My name is Bobby Patterson, aka Bobby P, and it is an absolute pleasure to be able to come before you again this evening, this week. This has been an amazing journey so far, even as we just started last week. But, you know, that last week went well. But even this week, we're going to even be even better as far as the flow of the broadcast is concerned. And hopefully you can appreciate as we grow as far as this podcast is concerned. Of course, please share, tag some people. And I also understand that there's going to be some folks that's going to watch this later. So if you watch this later, just, put a 2 in the comments if you're watching this after the broadcast as a replay. But please share as we go along. As you read on the banner, we have an absolute amazing individual that has went through an incredible transformation. Of course, I'm talking about Miss Gwendolyn Branch, who has lost at this particular point, and this was my last conversation with her a few days ago. We hit the 124 mark as far as weight loss. But what's even more incredible is her story in the process of going through a transformation. So that's what we're going to focus on. We're going to talk a little bit as far as the products are concerned, as for what she's used. But we really want to know who Gwendolyn is. She's had some amazing triumphs here as of late, and she is just so full of energy. She is in an entire mood all by herself. But before I bring her on, what I want to do is actually just show you a little short video montage of just a little bit as far as her process is concerned, her evolution, if you will, as she began her journey. All right. Now that you've just gotten just a little piece, as far as her journey is concerned, what I want to do is introduce to some, present to others, the amazing, the incredible, the absolute fireball that I like to describe her, Miss Gwendolyn Branch.
Hey,
Welcome to the Victim No More podcast. Oh my goodness. This right here. I am so excited. You have no idea, Gwen, the excitement I went through when you said, you was coming on the podcast, and I said, okay, great. Because I felt like the podcast it keeps moving up in a different level, and you are an entire mood all by itself.
I don't know.
And so, for those who haven't met you, they're in for a treat this evening. But your journey, what you've shared with me, is absolutely amazing. And a lot of times when we go through our transformations, what people see is the end result. What they don't know is the struggles, the trials, the tribulations during the process. And we could get caught up in looking at people on the mountaintop, but what we're going to learn the most from is their valley experience. So that's what we want to get into this evening. I know this is going to be fun. I know this is going to be another level. I know that it is. So as we start out, of course, as we talk about these products in the midst of this journey, we do want to make you aware that we are not making any medical claims as far as mitigating any diseases or any cures. This is our experience as far as using products from Total Life Changes. And now that we've got that covered and taken care of, Miss Gwen.
Hey. I'm so sorry. Sorry. Hi, everybody.
See, there it is. That's what I'm talking about right there. what I would like to do is kind of slow walk this in a way as to where we get an idea of who Miss Gwendolyn Branch was before Total Life Changes, before TLC, in the process of trying to understand what is going on in life at that particular time, and then leading into TLC, because there's some key things that has actually taken place. So just start us there, and I'll ask some questions intermittently. But who was Gwen before Total Life Changes?
So first of all, hey, Body BP, what's going on? You can't just walk into the interview like that. So now that we're here, no. First of all, hi, hi, Body P. I'm super excited to be here. So that's number one. I'm up here like I was like this, like, oh my gosh, this is really about to happen. So thank you so much for first of all inviting me, because you didn't have to, okay, because you are the transformation winner. But outside of that, so for me. I have been plus size my entire life. I came out the womb this size. I came out the womb plus. Okay. I prayed for my mother pushing me out. I was 7'11", literally. That was my weight. Like 7'11". That was me. So my mother said, I've loved food my entire life. I've been a foodie. Like even to this day, I will sit and watch the Food Network all day, every day. So I've always been into food, but it went from just liking food to becoming a way of coping with life. I went from just liking the taste of food to needing food to get through my day. So, I started off young, when I was in elementary school, I had a little snatch going on. Hit middle school, and them hormones and the boys and life, it just shot me up. I don't know what happened. I went from, shopping in the kids section to going to like the not the junior miss, but the miss.
Oh my.
It wasn't cute. But like my mom, I had the best parents, and they were like, baby, whatever you put on is beautiful.
Okay.
No. I remember when I was young, my dad actually tried to put me on a cabbage diet. Daddy, if you're watching this, I love you. He tried to make me eat cabbage for a whole week because he was concerned about my weight. So it went from regular, normal to middle school, bam, like life just happened. And I didn't know how to stop it, to high school and college. And then once you get into a place where you're getting to know yourself and you're realizing, well, I'm still, I'm a beautiful young lady, but I'm still single, life just kind of hits you, and then depression and mental health issues come in. And before I knew it, I was 35 and I was broken. I was completely broke. I was like one of them pretzels that you just bang on and it's a bunch of dust. I had, in the process of just not just dealing with the physical weight, I had the weight of the weight, where it was not just a physical thing, where I was just having a hard time. Like I got up like the old people in church, like when you had to open up, where you just gotta like push yourself because you don't want to get up. Because I'm 5'2", so being 337 pounds at 5'2" was not cute. And my knees didn't like it. Neither did my back. I actually ended up in 2015. I lost my sight to my left eye. I woke up one day, sight was gone. Ended up in the hospital for like 8 days. And when I finally came out of the sedation, and they didn't know what was wrong with me, I said, "Doctor, like, what's going on?" And he said, "Oh, yeah, it's just because you are African-American, overweight female." I said, "Oh, you didn't tell me I lost my weight because I ate too many chicken boxes?" Rude. And then from there, I went from bad to worse because I'm sitting there thinking, well, I was already overweight. Now I'm overweight and blind. So it in 2019, it got to a place where I was so desperate to lose the weight where I actually joined, and I laugh now, and I'm going to tell this very short story. I was so desperate to lose the weight that I joined it was like a spring weight loss camp, one of those boot camps, with women 58, and you just so it was one of them. They yell at you all day, and you just supposed to drop 49 pounds in 3 days. Well, I went to the camp and I paid all this money. But a man told me that this was how much I could eat. I said, "Sir, that's not a big piece of paper." He said, "Well, this is what your diet's gonna be for the next 6 weeks." I left the boot camp and got me a shrimp cheesesteak with a large Western fry and a jumbo half. I mean, I literally left the boot camp and was like, "This is ridiculous. Who's going to do this?"
Because you couldn't do that. That was extreme, and that was all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So there was no balance in that approach. That might work for some people, but I know at least for me, that wasn't gonna work.
Like I went from having the whole world to eat to having about 35 items, and I just kind of looked at it like, so is this what I can't eat and everything else I can't? He said, "No, this your diet for the next week." I said, oh no. So I ended up gaining everybody else lost. That was the beginning of 2019. So to fast forward, September 25th, I remember the day. September 25th, I was in a lot of weight. I was in a lot of pain from my weight. Both of my knees were really hurting. My back hurt like crazy. I was like, like when you go to get up and get back, be like, where you going? You ain't going nowhere, baby. Sit your behind back down. And that's just what happened. I ended up going to a chiropractor, and I went to a orthopedist.
Okay.
The orthopedist told me that I needed to get surgery on both of my knees, surgery on my back. I needed to do physical therapy 3 to 4 times a week, and I needed to be on medication. I said, "Who doing that?" First of all, my insurance is not paying for that. I don't know what kind of insurance you think I got, because I ain't got it like that. Okay, Blue Cross Blue Shield gonna say, "Sis, you need to go on a diet." So I literally left. I walked in there in all this pain, all this physical pain. I walked out. I walked in a victim. I walked out a victor, because something happened between walking into that hospital and walking out where I could hear, and I know this is not a Christian show, so forgive me. But I can hear God say, baby, you know what you need to do. Stop it. You eating that warm honey bun and that Mountain Dew every morning. Stop it. You out here eating a half a pizza at 10, 30, 11, and 12 o'clock at night. Stop. Like, what are you doing? Like, I literally got in the car and I knew I had to change my life. I didn't have a choice.
Now, let's unpack it. Just a couple of things. As you're moving from being a child that likes to eat, then you move into your teenage years and then to your early adult years. What was the social construct as far as you having healthy relationships, as far as just having platonic friends, and then also too romantic relationships? Were there any issues, while you was in that space back then?
There was every issue. There wasn't just one. There was a multitude.
Okay.
It was a multitude of issues. And I didn't start unpacking this until recent. Actually, it's been about a year or so. Okay. But I would envy small people, small ladies, because I always felt like the guys would always want to be with the small women. So I would have this complex where I would think that they were better than me, and I was not as pretty as they were, and I was not as worth loving because of my weight, which caused issues in friendships, from friendships to relationships. I think I told you the story a while back where I met somebody on social media. Well, it wasn't social media. It was for anybody out there who knows Black Planet. Yeah. So, so I met somebody, and back then, like, like the picture, sometimes the picture wasn't a true indication.
It didn't tell the whole story.
Okay, them little blocks.
That was the first catfish.
Literally, okay. They make no sense. All right, I was sitting up there thinking, "Oh, he's fine," and then you meet him in real life. That wasn't a block. Like, he had missing teeth. That's the problem. So so I ended up meeting.
Oh yeah.
I ended up meeting someone in public. It was like I was in college at that point. I met someone at the Galleria, not because I'm in Baltimore, and I thought that he knew what I looked like because I put up real life pictures. But as you stated, Black Planet was really like a catfish thing. So he met me, and number one, I was never confident. My confidence didn't come until August, September 2020. Okay. And only after Michelle Pinnock.
And we're going to get to that.
Anyway, so the person actually met me on a bench, and it was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I was like, "I'm good." He was like, "Oh, you look smaller on your pictures." And I was like, "What? Huh?" And he was like, "Oh, no, never mind." So we kept talking. He ended up saying, "I have to go to the restroom." I said, "Okay." He never came back. So that kind of set the tone for a lot of my relationships. Between my dad putting me on a cabbage diet. Like, I was thinking, am I not pretty enough? Like, I'm in middle school. Like, why am I going on a cabbage diet? We actually had a conversation about that where he was like, "No, I was just concerned about your health." But with this guy leaving me, thinking, right, that was just like oh yeah, you really are too big. So I think from there, my confidence level went from a 1 to like a negative 100, and it stayed there. And if anything, I was the type to beat myself up so much myself that if somebody else said something about me, it wouldn't hurt so bad. So I would tell myself, "Oh, you're not worth it. Oh, you're ugly. Oh, you're stupid. Oh, you're too fat. No one is ever gonna love you." So if somebody else said something to me, it wouldn't hurt so bad. I'd be like, "Baby, I've heard that before." I tell myself that all the time. What you gonna say? Nothing. So
basically, you went through the process of desensitizing yourself.
I was in a domestic violence relationship with myself. I was my own DV victim. It ain't
yeah. Yeah, so just constantly just being prepared to be let down all the time. You already in your mind done figured out, don't nobody want me because I'm just too big. I can understand that, and that happened at an early age. Now, what I want to do is kind of fast forward. I teach a process called the 5 steps of transformation, and in that first step, I state that you got to have a C moment, which stands for a significant emotional event. Now, you were describing that process that you had went through, that something just jarred you after going to that particular what is known as fat camp, and then you had issues health-wise where your knees and your back. Something happened at that doctor's office, and I would like to classify that as a significant emotional event. Something, that incident actually caused you to move in a direction to take action. Now, from that point, take it from there.
So yes, I would have to agree. That was the moment walking out of that doctor's office where the crazy part was the doctor never suggested weight loss. The doctor suggested surgery, physical therapy, and medication. And I sat in the car and I was sitting there thinking, that heifer, did he really just try to set me up for the okie doke? Like, did he just see like a new Bentley coming out of me or something? The devil is a liar. So I had a few issues with that. So I'm sitting in the car crying because I'm angry, but crying because I'm angry. Like, are you serious right now? And I thank God for God, because he gotta reel me back in. But from there, I just started this process where I said, I gotta change something. So I did. You know, I started walking like 5-10 minutes a day, and I started not drinking so many sodas, because I'm a soda-aholic, a fiend, a person. Like, I love soda. I can't help it. The sugar just gives me what I need. But now I got NutriBurst. Anyway, but you know what I'm saying? Like, what? NutriBurst? Right. You know. So I love soda. So I had to start really cutting down like the small things. Well, fast forward to January. I plateau. And for most people who lose weight, the plateau is the moment, it's either the do or die. Right. So I was actually at work, and you ever been really, really angry and you happen to be sitting at a computer and you start typing? I was typing.
Beating the keyboard.
Okay. That keyboard was dead. Okay. Like, people from the hallway came in and was like, Gwen, are you okay? Are you all right? I was so upset because I'm like, God, you know, I've tried everything. And I literally, I don't even know where the sheet of paper is, but I actually wrote down, I'm going to find it just because I said it. Okay. It's here somewhere. But I literally wrote down everything all of the money that I spent on weight loss. Well, look at God.
Talk about it.
I wrote down, okay, maybe I can find it here. So I wrote down all the money over the 2 years that I spent on weight loss. And this is like voluntary stuff, right? So if you can see the big number, like down here is like,
yes, $9,700. So over $9,700. Yeah, almost 10 grand.
Yeah, and it's really started. If you can see, it started in 2003. And because someone called me up one day and was like, so Gwen, you know, is this expensive? Is what you're doing expensive? I said, that's a very good question. I said, before we go there, let's see how much I've spent on stuff that didn't work. Right. And that's where this list came from. So when that happens, I said, So what ended up happening was I was sitting at my computer and I was very angry. I'm like, God, I've been doing everything I'm supposed to. I mean, I was literally like talking to myself and Jesus at the same time. And finally, he was like, you know what you need. Now, I'm going to tell you, I keep my ISO tea by my side at all times. The ISO tea was actually sitting on the shelving unit of my console because I had actually bought ISO tea January of 2019, but I bought it and I went to a board meeting and I took it right before I entered the board meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And I set myself up because I took 2 packets and 1 bottle of water.
Oh my!
And, somewhere mid-meeting, it was like, and
that was the sign of the breakthrough that was about to come.
Oh Lord have mercy! It was like the trumpets, and I was sitting there like, excuse me. I had to tiptoe my way out. So I said, I'm never trying this stuff again. I flew off of it that day. I was in that meeting. I had one of my friends, and I think I had one of my friends actually call me from the restroom, and I just had myself on mute in the bathroom so I could be a part of the meeting because I couldn't go back. It was no, I won't go back.
Yeah, that was pretty extreme. Now let me ask you this: before you had decided to put 2 packets in that water, did anything trigger in your mind and say, "Let me read the directions first"? I'm gonna ask the question because I know there's some folks in this chat right now that got the same question. So I just want to know. Inquiring minds want to know: did we even attempt to read any directions before we decided to put 2 packs?
Okay. I'm gonna be very honest, and this is a very Afro-American moment.
Okay.
So the person I bought it from, I was like, "Girl, how you take it?" Mind you, she's been taking the product for a very long time, so her body
has adjusted.
She was like, "Girl, just put 2 packets in. Girl, I'll do it. Look at me." I said, "Oh, I want to look like that. Bloop, bloop, shake it, shake it, shake, boop, boop, boop." And I promise you, something inside of me, as I said that, like I think my stomach roared so loud that the person beside me was like, "Girl, you okay?" And mind you, we were in a room about the size of, and I mean, it's like my board meeting, like the board of directors from my organization is sitting there, and they're all like, professional. I'm like,
yeah,
how do I get out of here? Because otherwise, it's not going to be pretty. But outside of that, I ended up that day, and it was end of January, and I said, something has to change.
Right.
I really felt like God was like, you know what you need to do. This time, read the directions.
Now, I do want to interject here. Now, just like you didn't read the directions, the individual that gave you that tea, I think they could have done a better job in kind of educating you, because if that was your first time taking the tea, that was pretty extreme. So that's a teachable moment for life changers, especially new life changers that come on board. Get to know just a little bit who you're actually providing these wonderful products to, and please encourage, follow the directions.
I actually like with some customers, I'm like, okay, so you there? All right. Please take it 30 minutes before, like now. I will actually.
Because you remember what happened to you.
Okay, because I'm like, listen, people be like, girl, okay, so should I take it like right before I go to work? Please don't do that. You will lose your job. I thank God I work for family. She was like, you all right? No, I'm not. It's still in the meeting virtually, because that was before virtual was even in, because I couldn't do it. But anyway, yes, now I know to read the directions, and I give everybody that memo up front. Please don't.
Right.
But yeah, that day, it was the end of January of 2020 that I started my official TLC transformation.
Okay.
And from the end of January to the beginning of July, I lost 45 pounds. So in total, at that point, I lost about 60. It was about 60, 65 pounds.
Okay.
I was not happy, because I was thinking, I haven't lost anything. So I literally go to my distributor at that moment, Michelle, and I'm sitting in the parking lot and I look so distraught. Like she comes to the door and she's like, "What is wrong with you?" And I'm like, "I'm still fat." And she's like, "So what mirror are you looking at?" And for me, I still saw that 337. I still
Right.
saw that person that was a size 24, 26. I was still buying 2 and 3Xs because it didn't
Right.
register. And she said, "I need you to go home and look at yourself. Like, take off the blinders and look at yourself." Because that's what I did when I first started taking the product. In January of 2020, I just put my blinders on and I went. I mean, pandemic and all. I didn't care who was there. I didn't care.
Right.
Listen, today I don't care about AIDS Cicada, okay? I will kindly take this ISO tea bag and swat them away. Because for me, my freedom is not predicated upon my weight, but it's predicated upon my consistency and my determination to make this goal happen for me.
Right.
You know, I have to win because I deserve to win. And I think that's just the mindset that I'm in, because people are like, "How have you lost all this weight during the pandemic? Like, isn't your refrigerator right there?" I'm like, let me tell you something. My refrigerator is rude. I would walk into the kitchen and he'd be like, "Gwen, you know you hungry." And I'm like, shut up, Leroy.
Oh my goodness.
You know,
A possessed refrigerator. That's
rude. It's real.
That's real.
Y'all be having them refrigerators that be talking to y'all. You be in there just trying to get some water. "Don't you want this piece of cheese?" Shut up.
Right. Now, as far as who your sponsor is now, let's talk about it, because if there's a motivator and if there's anybody that can get you jumping, if she can't get you moving, something is terribly wrong. But your sponsor, Michelle Pinnock, aka Sparkles, has been instrumental as far as pushing you and encouraging you in this process. And I think that's a beautiful thing, because a lot of times when we get on these journeys, we feel so alone. We feel like we don't have the support, and we're in it all by ourselves. But when you have somebody that is right there with you, that is taking the same products that you're taking, and they're going through their own particular journey as well, and they're encouraging you and they're pushing you. And the next thing you know, you look up and look at what you have accomplished. How has your sponsor been a blessing to you?
Michelle Pinnock, Pinnock. Okay, Michelle Pinnock. She is the wind beneath my wings.
Talk about it.
No,
Make her fly, baby. Make her fly.
I got a little Patti LaBelle in me, but no, she is the one who would not literally let me quit. She would not let me call victim, and I perfected the victim. I perfected it. Like there were times I enjoyed being depressed so much that I didn't care about who or what was around me. And I remember last July, if Michelle had not fussed me and bullied me out of being depressed and being overwhelmed and being so caught up in this prison within my own mind, I would have literally gone back to possibly 300-400 pounds. Like my doctor actually was like, "Yeah, I really thought you were going to like 400. I knew it."
And you bringing up an excellent point. Going through this process, and anybody who's watching this that is going through that journey, and in this particular case, you losing weight, there are times where you may need to borrow somebody else's belief in you for a season to tie you through until you're able to build that confidence within yourself. And I think that is so important and crucial, So I just want to shout out and thank Michelle Sparkles myself, because without her motivation, without that particular push, we could very well not be having this conversation right now.
Oh, we wouldn't.
Talking about your success.
Oh no, I would have given up. That day I went to go purchase a product because I try to be a woman of my word. I try to have integrity behind my word. So I told her I was coming.
Okay.
You wouldn't let me stay home. So she said, I'm waiting for you. I said, I guess I'm coming. Okay, I'll see you in a few. I'm like, you ain't gotta be so vicious and violent, but okay. I got there and she would not let me stay in the mindset of victim.
Right.
And she made me open my eyes. So from there, I remember, it's funny, I didn't start posting or anything on social media, any befores and afters, none of that until July, August. Until that day, until she was like, get the guy, but get the, I said, you ain't gotta be that way. But from there, she then connected me to the actual business side of TLC.
Okay.
And that was where, like, she was like, why are you just giving money away? And I'm like, what are you talking about, lady? She was like, first of all, you keep sending me customers. Don't you want to make money? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I didn't even realize I referred so many people to her because losing weight in a pandemic was not easy by far.
Yes, I know.
How you do that, girl? Like a lot of people was like, when you get your surgery, what knife was you under? None. Okay, the only knife I was under was a butter knife, trying not to butter some bread, trying not to even buy the bread to be buttered. But but outside of that, you know, she literally like saw something in me. And from there, she was able to connect me to Charnel Fletcher, who to this day, especially on nights like tonight, Charnel, I might be calling you when I eat too much, you know, and I just feel like I just gotta be like, I gotta flash dance all throughout my house.
Right.
To get those extra calories off, you know. I'll call Charnel and she'll just be like, go ahead, girl, lift them knees up, lift it, as she lays in bed. But I'm dancing around my house.
And Charnel is amazing too.
Yeah.
When she speak, you just hear the wisdom. And so here it is. You have two individuals who is in position to really push you and encourage you, like, and to keep you and keep you focused on the main thing. And the main thing is for you to get healthy. Now, what I want to do is kind of take a pause in the process as far as you telling your journey, and let's talk about some of the products that you have used and that is part of your regular routine today.
Okay, so okay. So I want everybody to say hi to Bay. This is Bay. Hi, Bay. So this is where it all started. I'm sorry, y'all.
Exactly.
I'm talking about the ISO tickets. This right here, this is like Ghostbusters for like your digestive system. Like your colon, like, oh, what? Like it going to be like everybody out, and I love it. Like, yo, this when I first started taking it, I didn't realize, but this got rid of like Gerber from like 83, 84. It went in and it got rid of stuff I didn't even know was in there. I was like what? It was in there like scraping the inside of the line and like
exactly.
So this is always my go-to because I'm gonna be honest, I'm still a foodie.
Right.
I don't always eat the best, but I take this so consistently, and that is the key. So before I even get into this, the key is consistency. I don't care if you're taking the product or not taking. If you are not consistent, nothing is going to work. And I think to a lot of people, girl, that stuff ain't work, but did you take it every day? I mean, I took it like a day and a half out of like 7.
Exactly.
So for me, I put my blinders on, and when I came out of that season, I realized I was different. I was a different person, and I was a different person. So this is my foundation right here. I love me some instant tea. Now, there is something about this product that I believe the angels talked to Jack Fallon and said, Gwen is going to need NRG. And yeah, I do think
you're not the only one.
I think some angels went to him and was like, you need to create this stuff because Gwen gonna need it. The fact that this joint just popping a pill, 300 calories, be like, well, gotta go. And then you work out, it's like an additional, you can burn up to 600. And the energy from this,
yes.
After I get off of here, I'm going to the gym. 5 seconds before I came on here, let me tell you, I was asleep, but I took these because I said I gotta be there for Bobby P. I took this and it gives me what I need. And it also kind of helps me cut down the cravings.
Right.
I was a late night snacker. I was a late night eater. Okay. I would eat cheese steaks and pizza and buffalo wings at 10, 11, and 12 and 1 o'clock in the morning. Like my mother at one point was like, this has to stop. Like you're scaring me. So this helped me cut down on that. Amazing. Get you some. Bam. And last but not least,
NutraBay.
Come on, Bobby P. You are operating in your season today. NutraBurst/Bay. NutraBurst, the liquid gold, gives me what I need to just wake up in the morning. Sometimes I'll be like, "What day is it?" But it gives me the energy and it makes me feel good. Like I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. Before I came on here. Y'all don't want to see me 20 minutes before this camera came on because, honey, I was like, I'm asleep. I need a nap. And I said, give me some NutraBurst. So I did. I took me some NutraBurst along with some NRG.
Right.
And I'm here. So it not only helps you feel good, it helps you feel
right.
good.
Right.
So.
Now, it kind of sum all this up, and I do want to interject something because I don't know about you, but there are times when someone will say, that tea doesn't work, or that tea makes my stomach cramp and it makes me hurt. I can't do that. And the first question that I ask, and this is very, very important for those that are watching, that are considering the products, the question that I ask is, how much water are you drinking? Well, I drink enough water. That's not the question. That's not what I'm looking for. How much water are you drinking? Well, I drink about 2 20-ounce bottles a day. I said that's nowhere near enough. And I give them somewhat of a guideline as far as their weight and the ounces, half of the body weight. You work your way into drinking that many ounces a day because the body is designed to do what it's supposed to do. That those teas, whether it be the original brew tea or the instant tea, when it's time to flush, the body is going to get the water from somewhere. It is in your best interest to have the water already sitting in your intestines because you have hydrated, you have drunk enough water during the day. But if not, and if you insist on not drinking enough water, then what's going to happen is the water is going to be drawn out of the walls of the intestines, and that's where the cramping comes from and the gas. Do yourself a favor and fall in love with water. This has nothing to do with your feelings. This has everything to do with the principle of not hurting yourself and being in pain, of taking these all natural herb teas, detox teas, because these are not weight loss teas. These are detox teas. And we all need to detox because our bodies are full of junk. And especially if we have not detoxed properly down to the cellular level, then we have accumulated over the years a whole bunch of junk, and that needs to come out. So fall in love with water as you're doing these products, and especially when you're drinking these detox teas, whether it be the instant, whether it be the original brew. The bottom line is that water makes it do what it's supposed to do. And trust me, those teas are a gentle detox. And when you're drinking enough water, trust and believe, you're good to go. You'll be able to schedule your breakthroughs and you still have a normal life.
Yeah.
But water is key.
And that is so true. I know initially when I took those 2 packets in that board meeting, I know I wasn't drinking enough water. So for me, it's like it went in and it fought off all the hamburgers and
Right.
cheese steaks and all, but it had nowhere for it. Didn't have anything to flush it out. So now I'm constantly telling people, please don't take this stuff and don't drink water.
Right.
Okay, because your life will be messed up. Okay, because the ISO tea will go in and it will scrape the lining of your. I mean, child, it's like Clorox. Okay, Lysol for your body.
It is.
It'd be like, get out, and everything gotta go. But without the water, it won't really move the way that it's supposed to. So. Yeah.
Now let's talk about awareness. Now we're gonna shift gears. We're gonna head towards where we are, getting where we are now. I remember when I had noticed you last year, and as you started posting those pictures and whatnot, I don't know if you realize how much of an inspiration you are to people out here. Because when you finally got out of your own way, when you finally said, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to go all out. I don't have nothing to lose but this weight that I don't want. And I want to be healthy. Did you know how much of an inspiration that you were going to become to people? Because when you post your pictures, it's very real. And we're not even going to get into the videos. I'm thoroughly convinced. If you wanted to, you have a future in entertainment. You are a whole complete mood, trust and believe. And
I like to be real. I like to be
right. So did you know that you were going to be in this place where you are right now? And just speaking of right now, how much weight have you lost today?
So since the last time I told you the 124, I've been staying right there because it's been graduation season. I graduated from Morgan, so I know like 'tis the season for everybody to graduate. Fa la 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 la.
Hold right there. You can't just speak that and then we just gonna act like that's not significant. Everybody give her some love in the chat. She is a graduate of the Morgan State University with a master's degree in teaching. So you have an excellent teacher sitting right here on this podcast today. Congratulations. That was a monumental task to actually accomplish. So I applaud you. Congratulations. So you're just a all out 360 inspiration in this thing. You're just getting this done. Now, as far as the business is concerned, you recently just hit a milestone in your career. And what would that be?
I just became regional director for the amazing tool Life Changes. So I'm super excited. I'm trying to.
Congratulations. Well deserved. You've been a product of the product, and you've lived out the part of your process in front of everyone. And people don't realize when you're out here telling your story, you're literally bearing a piece of your soul, because there's a lot of stuff over the years that we have held in because it was an embarrassment. There's a lot of people that we didn't realize that could be inspired by our story because we were so much of a victim in here. But now that we have made that transition from being a victim to a victor, from victim to victorious, it's an entirely different deal. We understand that these stories have to be told from a confidence standpoint. Who is Gwen now? I know that's a loaded question.
I don't know. The first thing that came to mind was once upon a time when that hurt that I was ugly. I'm sorry.
Lord have mercy.
I'm so sorry. Forgive me. All right. Anyway, right now, I am someone who I've learned my worth. I know I am still learning my worth, but I'm walking in the fact that I was created for more. So I'm no longer afraid to dream. I'm no longer afraid to dream dreams and have visions, because I know that if I can conquer this, what can I not do?
Exactly.
Yeah. So that for me is what it's all about. And to answer your other question, no, I never thought that my story would hit anybody. I actually, even to this day, I post pictures to remind me of who I am. And I really don't think anyone watches the videos or looks at the pictures, because in my mind, I'm just like, Gwen, sometimes you have to remind yourself you're not 337 pounds. Sometimes you have to remind yourself that you're not who you used to be. So
now, I don't know if you've experienced this. This has been my experience, because you're making an excellent point. Sometimes we be so seated in this process that we become unaware of certain things, like you can't wear certain clothes no more, like they don't fit, like ain't no use in trying to bother with, they look like tits on you. Yeah, there it is.
Let me get it myself.
Yeah, there it is. And so you go through this process, going through the closet, like, man, I can't wear this, I can't wear this no more. And I remember going through a transformation, somewhat of a transformation before, and I got to a certain place and I stopped. And one of the reasons that I used was, well, if I lose too much weight and I get up out of these clothes, then I'm gonna have to buy a whole new wardrobe, because I still had that victim mentality going on, instead of looking at it as a celebration. Because it's nothing like, for me, I don't know how it is for you, but for me, it's nothing like realizing that you are literally graduating away from the big and tall section as far as a man is concerned, and you're going over to the regular size section. Oh my goodness, somebody better talk to me. That right there.
Let me tell you something, okay, Bobby? You are talking on tonight here. Because let me tell you something. First of all, I've had a few incidences in my past where I look like Marlon Wayans in White Chicks, where I went to, and I'm not even gonna lie, and I pray, I really forget. Lord, please forgive me. I know the Lord forgave me, but I went into a BB, because I used to hang around with a lot of small chicks, and they be like, girl, they got extra large. I knew good and well I was a 2, 3X, and I tried to fit in one of them little dresses, and I got caught up like this. I was like, wait a minute. Like, I know I like stretching stuff out. I think I ripped something, but God is good. He done delivered me, because not last week before last. I almost lost. I almost ran just then. I had a banquet to go to, and it was like one of the pictures that you actually posted. It was like the dress with like the flowers on it.
Right.
I went to a Macy's. And when you in like stores like that, as you stated, when you're so used to being in one size of the store. Right. So I went to the size of the store that I'm so used to going to. And for some reason, everything was like floral print or old grandma lace. And I said, I don't think I have to be in this section. I said, but I don't want to set myself up. So I stayed in that section for a while, and I was still very sad, not realizing that I was no longer there anymore. I was there, but that was a place that I graduated from. It was kind of like visiting your old neighborhood after you graduated.
But it no longer fits you.
Don't play with me. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, I gotta find something to wear. I went to the Mrs. Evening wear section. I've never been able to fit anything ever. So I go and I'm like, God, it's me, your child. I need to be able to fit one thing in here. So I took about 8 dresses in. I was trying to find the biggest sizes of all these dresses, and most of them only go to like an extra large. I get in the fitting room, and I'm not even gonna lie, I prayed and I had Charnel on the camera. I said, Charnel, I need you to call on every angel you know to help me get into these dresses. So I'm in there, and there were dresses. She was like, oh, that's kind of no. And it wasn't, they weren't cute because they didn't fit. They weren't cute because they were just like ugly. But this one dress, she said, so the black dress
right,
it's a size like 15,
mm-hmm.
and it fit. I gotta take my glass. Let me explain something. I ain't been a 15 since I was 15. Okay. At 15, I was a 20, 16, 18. So I'm sitting there like, God, is this real? She said, girl, I think it's zipping up. She said, but I don't think that's the dress for you, because if you go to a Baptist banquet, that's giving a little bit too much. But it was so funny. So I go to the Baptist banquet, and the way I knew that I was walking in another season, because there were some older women that was like at the front door, and as I walked in, they was like, and they started talking about me. I said, I done arrived.
There it is. There it is.
That is. I said, oh, I made it.
Uh-huh.
Woo! When you
Yes,
man, that's how you know.
Yes, sir. You done graduated now. You done graduated. Now look, what I want to ask you one more additional question. It's funny, but it's a good way to wrap this show up or head in that particular direction. But there's something that you don't do that a lot of us have learned going through this process, that you got to find a way to measure your journey outside of the scale. And there's something that you do that is we laugh at it, but I think it's very, very good, because it forces you to have to make extra effort to actually see what's on the scale, when there's much more to our journeys than just the numbers sitting there on the scale. Because I don't know about you, but for me, when I went and I had to get a whole new wardrobe, and I'm still building on that wardrobe, and I got to replace suits. All my suits, I had taken them to the men's mission. And when I went to my tailor to get my suit measured, he literally started getting tears in his eyes, because I've had him for years. I started out in a size 58.
I'm sorry.
And now my suits is like 42.
So, come on. You better be
so those non-scale victories are just as important, if not more important, than what those numbers are saying on the scale. But there's something that you do when you want to see how much you weigh.
We're gonna go here.
Yeah, I'm going there. This is what I'm doing, because I can. So talk to us. How do you handle when you want to find out how much Miss Gwendolyn is weighing? Talk to us.
Well, first things first, I do not own a scale. I refuse to buy a scale, because I know me. I'll be the one to eat a salad, walk around the block, drink some ISO tea, go to the bathroom, and get on a scale.
Yeah.
And I said, that's not going to work for me. So I go to Target every 2 to 3 weeks, and I get on their scale. Yes, there are times I will go to Target, and I will have, listen, this whole little piece is sitting on my head. I will kindly be right on the rack. I will take off everything I possibly can. I will get on that scale, and that's just what it is. I know the people, they see me coming. Sometimes if the scale don't give me what I want, like in the aisle, I will kindly pack the scale back in the box, take the scale with me into the restroom, get butterball, get on the scale and shout, because generally there is some kind of, because clothes and hair and wigs and weaves and all these braids and situations. There is weight behind this stuff. So sometimes I got to
You got to get it all off of you.
get it all out.
You got to get the real number.
So I do. I do that every few weeks. I keep telling myself I'm gonna get a scale, but then I'll be like, no, you're not, because if I get a scale, I'm gonna be on that scale. So that's the first way that I can tell that I really lose weight. The second way I can tell, and this is actually a new realization, I have a neck. Okay.
What you say now?
God is doing things, honey. Let me tell you something. I didn't realize before I didn't have a neck. It went straight from a head to a body.
You were straight head and shoulders. I understand. They've been there and done that. They used to call me shampoo. Head and shoulders.
But now, look at that.
Look at it.
That. All that time. Let me tell you, I had 14 chins under here. I had 14. I could count them 1, 2, 3. And there was no space. But I remember not long ago, I went to put on a necklace and I said, there's a gap. Yeah. Like I was so excited. So that's the other way I've been able to tell I've really lost weight. I got that.
You know what? I mean, we laugh, and I think it's important to have humor and the ability to laugh at yourself. But all jokes aside, you are an absolute amazing woman. Mm-hmm. And I want to encourage, those that are going through the process. And especially if there's any young women that is watching or listening to this podcast, losing weight is not one of those type of situations where if you just lose the weight, you become whole. Nor will when you lose the weight and you're able to go dating, that's not going to make you whole either, because somehow or another this society ties someone else being involved in us being complete and being whole. And
Bobby, can I put a pin in that? I had to realize that everybody on my 600-pound life got a man. Okay, all of them got these men feeding them hot wings and chicken boxes and pizzas. I said, what have I been sitting up here complaining about? But y'all seen that show, 600-Pound Life. It don't make no sense. I'm sorry. Continue.
So I want to encourage you to do the inner work, because going through this process is not only physical, it's not only mental, but it's also spiritual. And I want you to get to the place where you're able to look in the mirror and recognize the wholeness that our Heavenly Father created us to be in from the foundation of this earth. And if anything, you could tell anyone, hey, look, I do not look to anyone to complete me. But what I will do is give you the opportunity to complement my wholeness. That's what you can do. But you can't make me whole.
You speaking, sir. I think we passing the plate. That is, because that's the truth. And that for me is something I actually had to learn, because I thought that everything that I was dealing with was connected solely to the weight. Mm-hmm. I had to then end up going to therapy to unpack all of the other pain. I didn't really even realize I had as many emotional and mental scars that I had until I was comfortable enough to say, okay, Gwen, in order to be whole, you have to tackle everything. It's not just the weight. So yeah, I had to chill. I done prayed more now than ever. God. But no, you're right. You have to, it's a whole, you need to do a holistic approach to this.
Right. It's a whole complete deal. All right, Gwen, we're going to close this out. But before we close out, and we ran over a little bit, but I think this is worth it. This is very, very much worth it, because your story is incredible.
Thank you.
The last words, what advice would you give to anyone who is beginning this journey, They might feel a little bit discouraged because they're not making the progress as fast as they think they should actually move. Maybe perhaps they're comparing themselves to somebody else. What advice, what words of wisdom would you give them so they're able to make this progression from being that victim to victor?
Well, this whole process really started when I made a decision. Walking out of that doctor's office, I changed my mind. There is so much power in changing your perspective and in changing your mind. Because when you change your mind, your actions just follow.
Right.
So for me, my mantra in this season has been: you change your mind, you change your life. And also, not only if you change your mind, but if you speak to yourself as though you've already won, the way that you speak to yourself now will change the way that your story ends. I had to start speaking life into myself even when I didn't feel like going on. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it was yesterday or day before, I was depressed and I didn't want to work out, and I was going to throw everything away. I ain't kidding them about TLC, but I started speaking to, first of all, God, and then I started speaking to myself like, oh, you're the head and not the tail. Because I made a decision, I didn't have any choice but to win. So for anybody out there who's like, oh my goodness, I can't do that because she did, but no. If I did it, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I don't be eating all that healthy, okay? I don't eat carrots and grass and just drink water. Sis like food. And for any man out there who want to date me, listen, hey, how you doing? You better be ready to come out here with some real food. Okay, I'm not about to be sitting out there with no salad. Anyway, but outside of all of that, you change your mind, you change your life. You literally, tonight, right now, if you be like, I'm sick of being fat. Because that's still where I am. I still got this pouch that, and right now, my whole goal is that when I lean over a table, my stomach doesn't go first, because I'm sick of having the overlapping little belly piece. That's not cute. So if you have been like me, where you were tired of being fat, you change your mind, you change your life, and speaking life into you. That's all I got.
Gwen, this has been an absolute pleasure. I can't believe that this much time has passed, because it just...
My bad, yo. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no. This was golden. You are just absolutely amazing. Your journey, your transparency, the way that you emanate encouragement to everyone, because you encourage me. You can't, when I look at your pictures, I'm like, you know what? I gotta still stay.
Bobby P. Stop playing, Bobby P. Don't play with me. You know you encourage the whole world. Right now, Jared from Subway is looking at you. What you talking about?
But I still need encouragement. I'm human.
Yeah, you're awesome.
There are days when sometimes I'm just not feeling it. That's just what it is. You're not gonna be on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days, 366 during the leap year. You're just not gonna stay there. And that's not a true human experience.
Can I say one thing? And I promise I'm just going to hit end and mute, and I'm just going to go into my corner. Stop allowing a bad moment to define a winning season.
Right.
And for me, that is what I started realizing. I was allowing a bad moment to destroy a moment a season where God was ready to take me to the next level. If I had decided this when I was 22, guess what? I'd have been the size of 22. If I had made this decision up when I was 25 or 30, I would have done it. But so often we have an emotional issue or crisis.
Right.
And we turn that one moment into a season, and a day doesn't have to become a year.
Right.
So I'm done.
When you fall off, get right back on. Plain and simple. I'm done. Thank you, Gwen. Thank you for your testimony. Thank you for your willingness to share part of your process, part of your journey, and it's not over. I mean, we're still going through this thing because I'm not done.
You're not done. This stomach got to go.
Yeah. So, but thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Oh my goodness, you have blessed us tremendously, and I want to thank each and every one of you who have taken your time out to actually watch this evening. Please still share the podcast, and know that we're going to have another incredible story, another incredible journey next week. But if you could, while you're down there in the chat right now, just give Gwen some love for taking the time out to share her story, to share her journey, to share her wisdom, her nuggets. And I'm pretty sure this is not the last time that we're going to do this on this podcast, Gwen. So I'm just giving you a heads up, because I think that we could do this even more and go a step further. But we'll save that for another show.
Yeah, I'm not playing with you because you are by yourself. You are a whole mood, and I love it. So thank you, Bobby P, and thank you for saying yes, because people need this platform. So I really appreciate you.
All right, now Gwen, you just hold on. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna end the live stream, but you just hold on. Don't go anywhere. Hey, I love each and every one of you, and there's nothing that you can do about it. We'll see you again next week for another amazing Victim No More.
No more.
No more. Stop. All right. You all be blessed now.